African Union Communications, Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals, intelligence, and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of April 6, 2026. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. Russian troops inflicted fire damage on the manpower and hardware of 2 mechanized brigades, 1 airmobile brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 3 territorial defense brigades near Novodmitrovka, Miropolye, Novaya Sloboda, Brusky, and Pokrovka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkov region, Russian troops hit units of 1 heavy mechanized brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, 2 National Guard brigades, and 1 border security detachment of the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine near Lozovaya, Lipsy, Pokalyanoye, Alexandrovka, Zemlyanki, and Polnaya in the Kharkov region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses were more than 185 troops, an armored fighting vehicle, 12 motor vehicles, and 2 electronic warfare stations. In addition, 1 ammunition and 6 materiel depots were neutralized. Units of the West Group of Forces improved the tactical situation. Russian troop launched attacks on formations of 3 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades near Velikaya Shapkovka, Shiakovka, Borovaya in the Kharkov region, Krasny Liman, and Stary Caravan in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy losses were up to 180 troops, 5 armored fighting vehicles, 20 motor vehicles, and 2 field artillery guns, including Western-made one. In addition, 1 ammunition depot was destroyed. Units of the South Group of Forces took more advantageous lines and positions. Russian troops delivered strikes at manpower and hardware of 4 mechanized brigades, 1 airmobile brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 1 Marine brigade near Slavyansk, Nikolaevka, Piskunovka, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy losses were up to 175 troops, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 14 motor vehicles, 2 field artillery guns, 3 electronic warfare stations, and 2 counterfire radar stations. In addition, 3 ammunition and 9 material depots were neutralized. Units of the Center Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. Russian troops inflicted fire damage on manpower and hardware of 1 heavy mechanized brigade, 3 mechanized brigades, 1 infantry brigade, 1 Jaeger brigade, 1 air assault brigade, 1 airmobile brigade, 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 National Guard brigades near Dobropoli, Lenina, Novogrigorovka, Sergeyevka, Anovka, Novi Donbass, Krasnoyarskoye in the Donetsk People's Republic, and Repelled in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses were more than 350 troops, 4 armored fighting vehicles, 2 motor vehicles, 2 artillery guns, including Western-made one, 1 electronic warfare station, and 1 counterfire radar station. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance into the depths of enemy defenses. Russian troops hit formations of 1 mechanized brigade, 2 air assault brigades, 4 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 1 Marine brigade close to Pokrovskoye, Dobropasovo, Zelenaya Dolina in the Dnepropetrovsk region, Samoilovka, Cherivnoye, Lyubitskoye, Lesnoye, Dolinka, and Igorovka in the Zaporozhye region. The enemy losses were up to 260 troops, 3 armored fighting vehicles, and 7 motor vehicles. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces launched attacks on manpower and hardware of 1 mechanized brigade, 1 mountain assault brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 1 Marine brigade, and 1 territorial defense brigade close to Orakov, Novoandreevka, and Kamishevka in the Zaporozhye region. The enemy losses were up to 60 troops, 1 armored fighting vehicle, 9 motor vehicles, 1 Western-made artillery gun, and 5 electronic warfare stations. In addition, 2 ammunition and 2 material depots were neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, inflicted fire damage workshops for the production of control systems and components for operational tactical missiles, energy infrastructure that supported the armed forces of Ukraine, fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicle storage and assembly areas, and temporary deployment areas of the armed forces of Ukraine and foreign mercenaries in 159 areas. Air defense systems shot down 12 guided aerial bombs, 3 U.S.-made HIMARS MLRS projectiles, 2 Neptune long-range guided missiles, and 693 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. Units of the Black Sea Fleet repelled an attack of uncrewed surface vehicles in the northeastern part of the Black Sea. In addition, 4 armed forces of Ukraine uncrewed surface vehicles as well as 1 Neptune MD long-range guided missile were neutralized.
In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 671 aircraft, 284 helicopters, 132,011 unmanned aerial vehicles, 653 anti-aircraft missile systems, 28,725 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,696 MLRS combat vehicles, 34,308 field artillery guns and mortars, 58,752 units of support military vehicles.
Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.